But first, Game 4 of the NLCS just wrapped up here on FS1. Unfortunately, our show, not live. We taped this hours ago, so we can't talk about anything that is actually a picture from Game 3. But that's okay, because that's the situation we're in, and so we adapt. And actually, adapting has been a big part of the MLB postseason so far. Kershaw isn't a closer, but when his team needs him in the 9th in Game 5 against the Nationals, what does he do? He adapts. The Indians didn't expect to be without 2 of their top 3 starters in October, but they adapted. Hell, the Cubs have been adapting to the fact that they might actually be good now since last year. The fact is, things will inevitably change, and when they do, you've got to change along with them. Otherwise, things get a bit, messy and disgusting. Look, Trevor Bauer, I get it. You've always been a roll up your sleeves and clean your own drone kind of guy. But you're a starting pitcher in the ALCS now, so maybe hire a guy to clean your drone for you. Or I don't know, just have a dirty drone. That kind of sounds like an A&E show waiting to happen. So you're missing some real opportunity. Just adapt, man, because now, between the bleeding on the mound and the drones, you are one racist Facebook meme away from going down a dangerous road here. It's not good. And it's not just athletes that have to adapt. When the NFL announced its strict new social media policy last week, which prohibits organizations from posting highlights that are taken from television and from turning them into GIFs, the social media departments of these teams had to figure out what to post when, let's say, their team scored a touchdown. A couple of them, like the Cleveland Browns, adapted, posting homemade reenactments like this one. Yeah, unfortunately, Dean Blandino saw this tweet and said, after further review, the ruling on the field has changed. The receiver did not have clear control of the ball. It's not even in his tiny hands. Players have to adapt, social media teams have to adapt, and fans, you have to adapt too, like Bills fans. Listen, I know you guys have been let down by your team in the past, and I know it's really cold and, from what I hear, boring up there in Buffalo. I understand how we got to the point where you're body slamming Santa through a table at your tailgate and also lighting yourselves on fire. You guys needed this. So this season, you might actually be good. So you have to chill, okay? I'm not saying don't party. You just can't show up to the playoffs and chug a beer out of a girl's butt in the parking lot. Clean yourselves up a bit, you know? Switch to Natty Light. Yeah, like buy a pair of pants that isn't of the sweat variety. Do sex at home, you know? Adult stuff. Just adapt. I know I'm making it sound easy, and it isn't, really. It's a real skill, thinking on your feet.
That's not appropriate.
Not thinking about feet, Rex, thinking on your feet. It's a tough thing to do, and not everyone is good at it, but there are some tricks you can use to help you seem more prepared in the event of an unexpected outcome, like what Jose Bautista did on Sunday when he suggested to a reporter that the ALCS was rigged against the Jays because of, quote, circumstances. Yeah, see? That's really smart. Planting the seed that there may be foul play before the outcome is determined completely absolves you from having to take personal responsibility if you end up losing. It's just like, well, you know, I can't actually think of a good example right now, but I mean, surely there's been someone prominent who has claimed that the system is rigged against them so they won't have to really admit defeat when, or I'm sorry, if they lose. I'll think of it. I'll think of it later. Anyway, you gotta prepare yourself for a variety of outcomes. Otherwise, you're Cam Newton. Yeah, league MVP last year, decides in the offseason he wants to be known for hats this year. Gets himself a hat guy and shows up to a press conference looking like the Monopoly guy, except with two bad eyes. And you know what? That's fine when you're MVP, Cam. But what happens when you're 1-5, last place in the NFC South, Cam?
Next question.
And you know what? I don't blame him. Of course he walked out. Do you know how hard it is to be somber and reflective and sad while dressed as an Amish peacock enthusiast? That's like packing for spring break and flying down to your friend's beach house in Miami only to find out that her grandfather passed away the night before and now you've got to go with her to the funeral in a beach cover-up and Old Navy flip-flops. It's a real photo. It happened. You have to be able to adapt. Be ready for anything. Guys, let Cam be a lesson to us all. I know we'd like to all think of ourselves as MVP Cam, but sometimes happens and you're going to be 1 in 5 Cam. And 1 in 5 Cam needs to bring a change of clothes.